hangings, the picking the cotton, the bloody feet, the bloody hands. So this is all you know, because up until Courtney, that's all I knew of the plantation. That's all I even thought about the plantation. Like, why in the hell would I ever want to step foot on somewhere or something that caused so much pain and trauma to my people, to my ancestors? Courtney changed that narrative for me. She gave me a different outlook, to say. And she said that I said, but I got it from her. But there was life on these plantations. You know, without them, there would be no us. Right. So they made families here. Right. They laughed, they joked, they partied, they did everything that we do. You know, in spite of the trauma, they still managed to get through it. And through them, we have us. So we owe them. Yeah. We owe them.
Welcome, welcome. Ooh, hubby, that was a call. This lighting is great in here. Great call. Okay, so welcome. We're gonna kick this. We're gonna kick this off because it's a hot topic, and not only is it a hot topic, but I think it's such an on-time topic for today and in this time and age. And we've been really digging in with our church, and so man, I'm shocked a bit and very much looking forward to the discussion, but I'm shocked a bit how much what was going on during the biblical era. We're talking about where the Bible literally, these are stories and the doctrine is pulled from, what was happening during the world and during the time of these lessons, these scriptures that literally lead our lives today, what was happening during that time and what's happening right now. And so a couple of things just piqued my interest, and I wanted to start, delving in, if you will. Let's see who's in. Naima. We were wondering, we were like, hey, we already have, a few people. So thank you so much. Thank you. And speaking of king and queen, honey, husband outdid himself once again. Got new rings, and mine says his queen. And yours says?
Her king.
Her king. So yes, king and queen for real. And it feels really good. Like sometimes when I'm looking down, I forget, because I always had a ring, but I forget that these, and I'm like, oh, I'm reminded. Really? And I get a little, because I'm used to just seeing the, the gleam, and that's it. And then I'm like, oh, this is black. And I'm like, because I know your ring, your band is black. And so, well, bluish. And the one I got for you, blue trim. But I'm like, oh, I'm used to that being your ring. And so to now look at my own finger and see, but these actually match, because when I got him his ring, it was apart from my ring, and it was months later. Oh, you missed the last one. It was a good one. So thank you so much for tuning in, but you can definitely always watch the Play Black. And please, Naima, I know I say it every time, but today and now is a great time to join the Village Build. We're literally developing we got a lot of exciting updates. We're getting some things started in regards to just collaborating with different networks on again, bringing this village build to life truly. So this kingdom village. So we're excited to get started with today's topic and just kind of unload a little bit, because it's been a while since we've had a What in the Word that was just kind of like a review of a few different topics, but we had a lot to cover.
The happenings.
Okay. So we have a few things, and we want to spotlight. We want to say thank you to everyone that came out to our Breaking Bad Blue Brunch. We were supposed to have these at the brunch, but it was so hot. It was so hot.
They wouldn't have lasted.
Interesting enough, they would not have lasted.
It would have just been like juice.
Smoothies. I don't mind a thin smoothie anyway, but I don't think it would have been as enjoyed, because people have just been drinking because it's cold. The appeal of them and even the taste, I think, kind of would have gone missed. Anything cold was popular on Sunday. So
yeah.
Here's to you all. Cheers to you. And let's get started. So I am Courtney Omega Doss.
And I'm Devon Doss.
And we are Dos Das.
Bong bong.
Bong bong. I do mine. Listen. Yeah. Wait. That's it. I do it. It's cool. Yeah, that's what it is. It's cool, guys.
That's like what's that? The
what?
Alpha dog, whatever.
Okay. Anyway, well, my name is Omega. I'm Omega, but yes. Okay. And stop.
Is it gang signs now?
No.
You throwing it up. You hollering at the ops.
How come yours wouldn't be considered gang signs? Now who's? Because remember, we just had this conversation last month, and you accused me of inappropriately labeling certain words gangs.
I'm just saying.
But how come what you did isn't a gang sign, bon bon? And
double D.
Yeah, that's what it is. Is this? That's cute, babe. That is Dos Das. That's cute. Hey, anyway, I'm Courtney Omega Doss, and did you already say it? You already said it? Oh my
That's
gosh.
how we got to the whole bang bang thing.
That is true. That is true. So I'm extra giddy. It has been a really amazing day. We had a great chat with our prophetess, very own Apostolic Faith Center's prophetess, Lauren Oliver. And I can just say that I was already having a pretty, amazing morning. But the chat with her just really brought so much to light, literally. And I love the fact that, we both grabbed so much from the chat that we had with her today. So, there's still some scripture, some worship time I wanted to devote to reading through some of the scriptures that she shared. And if any of you want to get the scripture shared, you can definitely email me. This is what we do. Like, again, existing beyond the boards, we are literally here to build village and to keep things, to keep each other lifted and make sure that our gates are guarded.
Get lifted.
And what song is that? That sounds good.
Yeah, it don't fit.
Wow.
Just that part right there.
It sounds like it's about to be foolishness. So we're gonna get started. Y'all, these movies are hitting. I'm actually sad that I didn't make them on Sunday.
No, it'd just been straight juice though.
No, it wouldn't have been even juice. Everything would have separated. It wouldn't have been juice. It would have been liquid.
Kids would be like, what is
cold
this?
Liquid. Yeah. But at any rate, the topic is New York Baal. Baal. And I was going to say, is New York ballin'?
Yeah.
It's no, I want to say this, and I know how my husband feels about them, but it is it's no secret that I have an affinity for Harlem, and I do like Dipset. I think, Jim Jones and Jewels and Cameron, I just think that was a good little group. I really do. And also, I used to book them, and so it was good times. It was good money made from because they were really popular in the Philly area, and that's anybody knows Philly. That's hard to be popular in Philly, which don't even literally celebrate their own until their own are huge and have made it. It was to have a group that wasn't from Philly that could get, NY is everything. I agree. We're gonna talk about all the things it is shortly. But hubby has some interesting I don't want to say interesting, I call him hating, but he has some not so favorable things to say about Harlem, even though he was born in Harlem. His mom told me they're from Harlem. His mom told me they're from Harlem.
No, she's from Harlem.
His mom told me they're from Harlem. She said you're from Harlem. She told him that I was in the room.
Listen. One, I wasn't born in Harlem.
That's what
born
she
in
said.
Manhattan, not Harlem.
Where were you born though?
In a medical facility.
He was born in a hospital.
That's number one. Mm-hmm. Two,
he was born in a hospital.
I mean, Harlem is Harlem. I mean, like,
why you say it like that, baby?
Because it is. It's just Harlem. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. I don't know. It's Harlem. It ain't the Bronx.
Oh, so what does that mean? That's what I just really want to know. What does all that mean, baby?
What does that mean?
Yeah, baby.
We gave all those boroughs they swag.
All the boroughs.
We gave birth to them.
Okay, gave birth to them. So, all right. So, also, this is something that I can't really identify with. So, I was born in Daytona Beach, from Daytona Beach, and I just never had the whole. For a little bit, a very little bit, I was referring to Daytona Beach because they'd be like, "Oh, what's in Daytona Beach?" And I was like, "The beach." And so then I started to call it Day Beach, like DAY. And I thought I was onto something. I was going to get T-shirts made. It never really caught on, but anyway, I thought it was cool to say I'm from Day Beach. Day Beach, get it? Day Beach. But anyway, aside from that very brief stint for a few months in college, I never really had a real affinity to be like, oh, it's Daytona, nah. Like, and of course, I think that comes from a couple of things. First of all, Daytona didn't, besides, like I said, the beach, we didn't have some professional sports teams and things like that. But I became most proud of them when, of course, my grandmother became the mayor.
Y'all got the racetrack.
Yeah, but that wasn't our state. That's why it was Day Beach. That's Day Track, and that's Day Beach. It didn't feel like that was, our. And then my mom had to really kind of school me, or son me, as they would say, and letting me know, because I thought Daytona, like literally when I was doing my little college applications, I was just like, I don't think that HBCU was going to be that different, because I said my school is 90% Black. And my mom said, Courtney, what are you talking about? And I was like, yeah, like everybody's Black. Everybody's Black. And so she broke it down for me. And I was just like, wow, like I never really thought about it that way, because we went to church with mostly Black people, even though one of our bishops was a white woman and a family. And so it's like, I knew white people. I always went to school with white people. I had predominantly, but where I lived, mostly Black. And, like my experiences, what city was Daytona, Florida? Now it's Daytona Beach. Don't you be disrespectful now, Naeem. It's Daytona Beach, Florida. But it's in like the closest. What city was Daytona Beach, Florida, like as far as like the closest, like as far as in the culture? I can't say any place I've ever lived has been like Daytona. Daytona was, not hot. That is not what I was gonna say. And I've lived in hotter places in Daytona. I lived in Tempe, Arizona. You was in
Arizona. Arizona's out.
Devon, can you let me talk?
I'm sorry.
Thank you. So racially wise, the racial breakdown very, very similar to, I guess, Tallahassee, which is where, of course, Florida A&M and Florida State are. But in Daytona, the only thing that we really had was, and this was before Daytona Beach Community College became Daytona Beach University, or Daytona Beach College. That's what it is. And Bethune-Cookman, this is when Daytona still had Bethune-Cookman College, and it was a college and not Bethune-Cookman University. So this was before that transition. So aside from the beach, NASCAR, the claim to fame, I'm sorry, I didn't mean, no, it is not like Miami at all. Miami, and we'll get there, because I will say compared to Daytona, Miami is a real city. But even in Miami is not a real city compared to Philly. So if that makes sense.
But I think
it don't compare.
I think northern cities is just different anyway.
They are for a number of reasons, but definitely is. I always thought because the racial breakdown was a certain way, it was going to be the same, and it definitely is not. But girl, I was a little bit kidding, but yes, it is Daytona Beach. But it was very much like Tallahassee, maybe not even Tampa. Tampa had more of a culture to me than Daytona. Daytona, like I said, aside from the beach, NASCAR, and Bike Week, the biggest claim to fame about Daytona is actually it was the only place in the United States where there was flight school, Embry-Riddle. Embry-Riddle is an aeronautical university. So literally, the pilots go there to become like top in the world. Like the pilots go there to
Wait, is that what train? Top Gun is?
Top Gun, no.
Oh.
They come there to train for NASA to NASA. I say Nassau like Nassau, Bahamas.
What's the name of the place?
The name of the school?
Yeah.
Embry-Riddle University, Aeronautical University. Excuse me. But Miramar, Florida.
Is there a Miramar, Florida?
Yes, there is.
That's what Top Gun is.
That's towards Miami.
Okay, that's what Top Gun is.
There's been a lot going on. It's right. It has, and that's why, like I said, I want to give a moment of silence to kick off this conversation, because I do joke with my husband a lot about the things that happen in New York, but I was really floored and upset with hearing about the murder of the young woman's name. I believe it was Yasmin. And I know this is all allegedly at this point, but to think that this this tragedy could have been acted upon by someone who she classified and who people knew of them as being friends, as well as someone who was just from all the accounts that I've seen, she was a very just loving, very giving, just very bright, spirited, minded person. And I want to be very honest. It just seems like she was a Kingdom Village resident. She's a Kingdom Village citizen. And we have these conversations and we get in the word and we go, through these scriptures and we worship, and you do forget sometimes that it is a scripture that says that just falls on the grace falls on the just and the unjust. And we can get, because of course we're in the flesh, we can definitely get in the spirit of saying this person didn't deserve this, but we have no idea what God's plan for these people are. And we also can look at the person who is still the alleged murderer of Yasmin, or as I hear they call her Yazzie. We look at the person that still is living and say, why is it fair that not only was he able to be taken into custody without harm, but he had a full force. He had guards. He had full guards, shielding him from the blows and from the yells and from the the frustrated, hits from the family members and community members and friends. And he had security. So it's just where was her security? Yes, that is her. And not only, sis, was she found in a sleeping bag, in a garbage bag, but apparently, and I've seen the footage, and it definitely does seem like it confirms. And we did a little research with bringing together this information before we came on today. With it shows that the alleged murderer was dragging the body down the street behind his motorized wheelchair. And the fact that this person could feel so confident that it's just like walking a dog in the park. And I do appreciate, and I know Eric Adams has gotten a lot of flack, I get it, but I do appreciate the speech that he gave in regards to the handling of her. That this is somebody's daughter you're doing this to, somebody's big sister, somebody's little sister. Well, I think she was the oldest, and she had twin younger siblings. Or no, she was a twin, and then she had a little sister. So literally, this is somebody that she shared a womb with someone, and she came into the world with someone, and she's leaving solo. Like I said, I joke around my husband a lot about the violence and the things that go on in New York. But that to me is like, that's scary, that's heinous. And like I said, just to hear people from that community and to see the people from that community that showed up when when this guy was being brought out, the alleged killer, and to know, to see the mom, and just knowing that I really felt just like everything else that we want to talk about today, literally, it's got to take a back seat. Like, we really have to talk about what is going on. And we are opening up this conversation, but I really do want to talk about what is happening in this world and how this does relate and is identical to what was happening in the Word. So thank you so much, Veronica, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining the chat today. So babe, do you want to open up with anything particularly?
I can't, like I've been in a few cities up and down the East Coast. And recently a few out in the Midwest. And I'll say this. Other than Philly and Newark, New Jersey, there is no other cities that even come close to New York. Mm-hmm. As far as violence. Maybe Chicago.
Yeah.
Maybe Chicago. But Chicago for a different reason. Chicago is like gangless. And it's, like I said, it's mostly gang violence in Chicago. New York, Newark, Philly. The violence is different. It's like clearly this guy in this motorized wheelchair, it was, he wasn't banging. There are situations in New York where the average person, I'm not even going to say the average person, but the person sitting next to you in that subway or on that bus or your Uber driver, your Lyft driver, he might have a body count. This
guy was a parolee too.
In the wheelchair?
Mm-hmm. He was robbery and assault was what he did time for.
But I'm saying it to say this. When you get into these big cities, and I mentioned Newark. Now, Newark is not a big city, mm-hmm. but it's congested. Like, everybody's on top of each other there. And for New Jersey, population-wise, it is the biggest city in New Jersey. not land wise, population wise.
All right.
It's like these cities that are congested, where people are on top of each other. It breeds anger, discomfort, because nobody wants to be, have all up on top, invading your personal space. I don't care how much of a people person you are. Like this, get off me, man. It's so it
I can see that.
makes people uncomfortable.
I can see that.
And you get uncomfortable, you get irritable, and you get angry. And it also hardens you. And when there's only but so much space,
Amen.
and so much it's only but so much I don't know what's the words I'm looking for. I guess resources.
Yeah, resources.
It creates an atmosphere of high competition.
That's good. That's good.
And for the basic of needs.
Yeah.
So if we're all competing
for housing, food,
right, food, jobs, whatever.
Yeah. That's good.
The tension is always there.
Yeah.
And this is where you get this violence, this random just random spots of violence. And not only that, but you can only take but so much. Everybody has a point that they reach where they break.
Yeah. Boiling point, breaking point, yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're weak-minded. But listen, we're all human. We can only take but so much before you push to the point where it's like, it's just gonna be what it be. And I think there's a lot of that. And then when you factor in mental illnesses amongst, say, the homeless, the recently released convicts,
yeah,
and you have these mental problems, and you reach that point, then you get the guy walking down the street with the bat, just cracking people in the head.
Yeah, can we talk about that?
No, we cannot.
Why? Why not?
Because that was like 2 years ago.
It wasn't. Well, it was, but
like 2 years ago.
I'm gonna let you finish, but I do need to tell that story because it was hilarious. And it was
How was it hilarious?
Because it was right on time. Because go ahead and finish. Because I definitely have to tell that.
But anyway, this is why these things happen.
Amen.
And and more specifically in these northern cities, because in these northern cities, everybody is everybody's on top of each other, and everybody's competing for the same stuff. So yeah, New York to Virginia. What did it say? I got my glasses on.
It says, I read. Okay, it says Naima Saunders says, when I moved from New York to Virginia, most people were so nice, saying, "Hi, how are you?" People in New York are so much in a rush. I always been nice, but I had to learn to say hi back. Wow.
Remember I told you the same thing?
Yeah, you did.
It's okay. So when I first started coming down south, not to Athens, because Athens is just weird. I might still not be talking to people if I moved here first. But
you would have been.
But
some people.
I was in the Atlanta area, and it was kind of a slight shock at how nice everyone were. It was hi, good morning, and yeah, it was a serious cultural difference.
Yeah, for sure.
And it eased a lot of tension, because New York, it's like you got to be gangster 24 hours a day, and that is exhausting. It's exhausting. Like you just gotta wake up and you gotta have your game face on.
You gotta put it on.
You walk out to go to the elevator, you gotta have your game face on.
Yeah.
You go to the corner store, you gotta have your game face on. It's exhausting. It is. And like I said, you get to that point where
I appreciate the honesty in these moments, but these be the moments when I be talking about, babe. Like, you can say that here and now, but when I bring it up and I say, babe, you kind of constantly always have.
No, I don't. No.
So you think
what?
46 years of it?
Of what?
Of that solid, what you just described, but now you don't? You don't have it?
Nah, it's gone.
Stop. See, this is why I say we got to be honest.
Hold up, I spent some time in Dirty Jersey.
Okay, you spent some time in Dirty Jersey, but let's like you said, it's Dirty Jersey, and there was still people packed on top of each other, and still people being
not South Jersey.
Okay, but for the most part, your conditioning came from always coming out, having to have it on, having to have it on.
Game face.
So it's exhausting, like you said. So when I point out, hey, this is kind of how you are, for you to be like, nah, like, it'd be a very much an indifference, like you don't know what I'm talking about.
Because sometimes I don't.
Okay, but this is what I'm talking about. This exactly is what I'm talking about. The game face, that's conditioning. That's conditioning.
That's food. That's good. You talking about like when I'm walking around outside?
No, I'm talking about that is your armor. You wear that. Like from the time you get up, feet hit the floor, it's like, dang. And it's like, it's just in there. It is not, your mood does not start off like at the 100, at the high. Your mood starts off like mid. And then as the day goes on, it'll just get lower.
What do you mean?
It does. That is what I mean.
No.
Well, I want to interrupt with a little scripture, y'all. And confirmation that we right where we're supposed to be. And this is from the book of Ephesians, where, Prophetess Lauren told us to really get into today. It says, a gracious greeting. All right. This comes from Ephesians, book 6, 21. It says, but that you also may know my affairs and how I am doing, Tychicus, a beloved brother and faithful minister in the Lord, will make all things known to you, whom I have sent to you for this very purpose, that you may know our affairs and that he may comfort your hearts. Peace to the brethren and love with faith from God the Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Grace be with all those who love our Lord Jesus Christ in sincerity. Amen. And I felt that with my whole heart when Sister Naima was talking about just greeting someone. And you're right. You and I have talked about that as well. That is also something that, I grew up naturally doing. And I will say this, you all, like I said, I want to be honest, there's not a lot about Daytona I'm proud of with being from Daytona. But like I said, I am proud that my grandmother achieved the height that she did there with being a mayor. I'm proud to say that, my brother and my sisters, doing very well. We were raised in a very stable environment. My parents are both social workers, so we always had a community love. So I've carried that with us. I've carried that with me wherever I have gone. And I can't say that would be the same had I been born other places. Because even though I have had the great opportunities with living other places and living there for quite some time, no, I am from Daytona. And being born into this place and into this city where the tensions were not, so we weren't on top of one another. I grew up in the same house. I grew up in the same house. I wasn't born in that house, but I grew up in that house. And all of my life, never was a move, never was a neighborhood getting bought out and we had to move to another area, never missed payments and because we didn't own it, but never was taken over from the banks and we suffered any evictions. We didn't have a lot of the struggles that I've seen plenty have, including my own children. You know, I was just sharing with someone yesterday that, I mean, by God's grace, honestly, you know, my kids are pretty, you know, they're very decent, and they're mannerable, and they're well behaved, and because they have had to endure a lot that I never even dreamt of. I never knew what an eviction was growing up. My parents were married all the years that my mom was living. So all the years that I knew my mom, she, you know, married woman, dad came home every night. There was never, we didn't have issues. There was, like I said, the fact that there was not a divorce, and, you know, we had parents that were present and parents that were helpful with us developing our academics, you know, academic, portfolios. So, but more than anything, y'all, we had parents that were in the Word. We were in the Word. St. Timothy's was our church home, and St. Timothy's it was our network. It really was. You know, I made the mistake myself once only, thinking that because I went to church with someone that we were friends. You know, because that is what I thought. I thought that, you know, we're in church together, we're friends, and that doesn't necessarily, that wasn't true for everybody. Everybody didn't see it the same way. But yeah, having that faith and having parents that were faithful, that definitely set a different precedent for our household, and I believe for a great foundation for our lives growing up. Now, again, did we have, were there arguments between my mom and dad? Absolutely. Were there, did we have financial struggles? Absolutely. You know, a lot of these things still did happen, but it was how they were addressed. Absolutely, Veronica. Veronica, what city are you in? Because I know you did, and we want to get to that too. Yeah, you did mention about the illegals, and we must touch on it. We must touch on these things because it does.
That's a serious thing in New York,
in other places too. But I mean, Boston, Chicago. They say Detroit and Atlanta is going to be next, and you know, even already, literally, Governor Kemp here.
Oh wow!
Is making some. Lansing, Michigan. All right, Governor Kemp is here
in that area in
Lansing, Michigan. Governor Kemp here has moved very aggressive legislation against illegals, even though this was declared, you know, low key a sanctuary city. Governor Kemp has made some very, very aggressive legislation against migrants and illegals working here.
And Naima, that's not off topic.
It's not at all. It's not a topic at all. We definitely discuss this all the time.
I think that's not the only reason. It's part of it. Mm-hmm. Also, I think it's got a lot to do with what's actually going on in the world.
Yeah.
Between what's going on in Hollywood,
LGBTQ+.
The alphabet people.
Yeah.
What's going on with them? This woke culture, and how it's being turned into something ridiculous. I think all of that plays a part in why
not
people are not getting married,
but malicious.
Yeah,
malicious.
On why people are not getting married, or if they're getting married, why they're not staying married. The reasons they're getting married.
You know how bad it is with the woke culture. I'm not even kidding you. With the woke culture, like, it makes me upset when I see those signs say Black Lives Matter, because I already know that they're about some BS. Yeah. Like, it makes me upset, and I'm like, that should not make me upset. You talking about Malcolm X, Miss Marcus Garvey, like, that should not make me upset, but it does, because I'm like, I know that they're on some BS. I know they're on some BS, and they're putting this out to make it seem like, oh, they're down with but no. And I mostly see those signs in very well-to-do neighborhoods, and you already know they ain't got no black neighbors, but Black Lives Matter. How much you gonna invite them to move in?
They extremely gentrified areas.
For real.
And
for real. It's like they think that's a protection, because those signs started going up real heavy after George Floyd. Yeah. So they saying, don't burn down my building. I'm Black Lives Matter. But what were you doing beforehand?
Here's the thing, right?
What were you doing beforehand?
Because I was in New York during the George Floyd thing.
You were, yeah.
And
get
I was living in Brooklyn.
Get with it.
And I remember they shut down the Brooklyn Bridge.
Amen.
And at the time I was doing SHIP.
Mm-hmm.
And I was done for the day. But because they shut down the Brooklyn Bridge, I was downtown Brooklyn, and traffic was so bad.
You told me this.
I was so pissed. I was so pissed. I don't even want to get mad just even thinking about it.
I remember you told me, like, yeah, you always get mad when you talking about it.
Yeah, because and I told people, I said, listen. Now, also, this is also around that time, COVID. So everybody was in the house. So now everybody's running around with these picket signs and all this other stuff. I'm like, listen, man, as soon as these seasons open back up, where do you think these white folk going? They're going home. They out here now, shutting down the Brooklyn Bridge, running around down in Manhattan, all this old craziness, because they bored. They had nothing to do. They wanted to get out of the house. Everything was closed. Like literally, New York City, everything was closed. There was nowhere to go. There was nothing to see. There's no movies. There's nothing. There's no bars. There's no clubs. There's nothing. You couldn't even go get a haircut.
Come on.
This was something for them to do. So this Black Lives Matter is fugazi. And I'm about to curse, and I'm sorry.
No, you can't curse them.
Okay.
Thank you.
What can I say other than the F-bomb?
Okay, don't go do this.
Okay. It was fugazi ass. All right. They didn't care about that man losing his life. They didn't care about the 20 previous dead bodies on the cops.
Yes. Yeah.
It was something for them to do.
Come on.
It was someplace for them to go. Because after all that stuff, they did? They went to their Starbucks, they went to their Chick-fil-A's, did all that. Yep. You really want to shut all this stuff down? Stop doing that.
Right.
Stop doing it. Get off the wheel. Get off the hamster wheel. Shut it down. It's real simple. You want real change? There's only 2 ways to get real change. Spill some red or take away the green.
Remember where you got that from?
Who? What?
Who has said that there's only ways to change? No, I said it's white, it's white, it's red, and it's green.
What's the white?
Privilege. Yep, take away their privilege. I've had many. Yeah,
I'm top there.
Thank you. You're supposed to be forward and back.
Forward and back.
Yeah.
What is that?
This is it. It's this.
No, it was double tap.
It was? I didn't say it.
Oh my God. Listen, you
get it right.
Yeah, get it right.
I'm in the word.
Yeah, get it right. Double tap. Bang, bang. Double tap. It's double tap. No, that's if we down low.
Keep going, because you're
up top is double tap. Come on, Courtney.
No, you come on, Devon.
Man. Wait, what is this? The homeless population is growing fast at a fast rate here. Wait, are you talking about in Lansing? Let me see.
Yes, she said Lansing.
Who the hell? Really, I got family in that Lansing area. I did like a lot of it too. I haven't met any of them though. But we kept in contact here and there through social media.
But yes, I think in regards to your statement also about and again, yes, it's not off topic, and thank you for sharing. and inviting that conversation, that is a big reason why people don't want to stay married, because they're not in the word. And I'm going to be very honest. I wanted badly to get remarried. I wanted badly to get remarried. I wanted another time, another opportunity to be a wife. I wanted companionship. I wanted all of that. But what I did not want to do is conform to a relationship. I did not. Because I already had all that other stuff. Like I said, I had that in the bag. I know I ain't gonna never cheat. I know I'm not gonna do this. I know I'm not gonna do that. I got that. But I don't want to building a relationship is work. And I had to come to realize that I did not want to do that work. I didn't. When it comes to relationships, I want to be able to just enjoy the perks. I want to enjoy the rhythm without having the blues. Can I get a yes? I want to be able. You want it? Yes, I always wanted marriage again, but I did not want the work again. I thought that I thought my first marriage didn't go well because not because I didn't want to do the work per se, but because I wasn't a faithful wife. And I was just like, okay, once I got that out of the way, okay, I ain't gonna do that again. All right, God, I got it. Boom. I'm not gonna cheat ever again. And that's all I chalked it up to. Now, the working on myself during those years of abstinence, what happened was I did work on myself, and I did spend time in worship. I got into these churches, but it was primarily because I was looking for another husband. I wanted to. It wasn't to get close to God. I recently saw that Lecrae interview with the gentleman, the former LBGT member. The former gay man, I forget his name. I'm sorry. It escapes me at the moment. Formerly gay man. But he said, I didn't go to church to be straight. I went to church to be with Jesus. I want to say I went to church to find a husband that was into Jesus. But the first part was to find a husband. Now, into Jesus was the second part. First was finding a husband. So I during those 7 years of abstinence, like I said, I'm in the word and I'm thinking about these things that I wanted my husband to be. Honey, I was not doing no studying about what type of wife I was being. I wanted my husband to be this way. I wanted my husband to be like this. I wanted my husband to, just this is the blueprint that he had. I didn't feel like I needed a blueprint because I'm the one in the Bible, I'm the one that is ready to be accountable. So I felt like that already put me in a different category. The work that comes with marriage, the guidelines and the instructions of it is absolutely biblical. And a relationship between a married couple is a union on this earth that is supposed to be reflective of God's and Christ's love for us as a people. So that's the reason why when it says to love your wife as Christ loved the church, it means forgiven. Sometimes when the people are wrong, Lord, they wrong. Forgive them. So many times when your wife, I'm wrong, forgive me. And then it says, to submit to your own husbands. We talked about that. We talked about submission on Friday. If you missed Friday's a couple of forevers, please go back and watch that. It was a really, really intimate conversation. And I definitely think that we touched on a few strong points with it. Most people just want to fornicate. They sure do. Veronica Brown says, it's sad. A lot of people don't want to get married anymore. I want to be married, but the men I used to date didn't want to be married. And you'll find, trust me, God is, what my sister said prior to me meeting my husband. And it's funny because my husband and my sister, my alpha, they share the same birthday. But she used to say, because I used to be like, well, I feel like I'm ready, you know. And she said, Courtney, you may be ready, but God may still be working on him. So don't rush nothing. And I'm saying, well, this ain't rushing. You know, it was already, I was closing in on 5 years where I had not, honey, I've been abstinent and everything was drying and shriveling and all that good stuff. But she said, God may be busy. Yeah. But she said God is working on him. So you can't rush that. And I believe personally that this marriage has been the closest I have ever sought God. It has been the most I've ever sought God and the closest I've ever felt to God. Because when I tell you, when God tells me you gonna speak, he gonna speak, you gonna speak, and he ain't gonna do nothing. But when I speak, he ain't gonna have a choice. Baby, God don't play. God don't play. That's why sometimes I just stop mid-sentence. And I hear him just say, just be quiet, Courtney. And trust me, sometimes I be arguing God, like, God, you know what you told me to say? I got it. You done said it. I got it. You done said enough. Okay, God, I'm gonna be quiet.
What if you can't forgive?
And then we just let it play out the way it's supposed to play out. But I just want to say that it does take a patience, and it does take faith in that patience. It takes faith in that patience that God is putting it together. Whatever is for you is going to be for you. And that is regardless. And if it takes time, it takes time, but count it all joy, because when it does happen, it does happen. And we were just talking about this today, because as you all know, Wednesday is our date day. And we were just talking about this today, but I have to say it's very, this has seemed out of, like, it seemed like out of extreme. How did this happen? How did we end up together? It seemed like it's happened out of extreme circumstances, but it in fact does. It happens out of extreme circumstances that God will put it together, was supposed to be put together. So it does have faith and has patience.
It was extreme.
It was extreme because, first of all, first and foremost, you weren't trying to get married. So the fact of the matter that you met a woman, so that's extreme.
Hiatus from women.
Exactly.
I was traumatized.
So how does someone who is not looking for that, you turned around and, I mean, it wasn't no pushback on it when I said, hey, you know, we got to get married. You was like, yeah, that's unusual. That's unusual, to the point where people were still asking him, you know, what do you mean you married? what are you talking about? You know? Thank you. And we we both like to talk, but that was extreme. And I think that too, just our different backgrounds. Like I said, we, like I said, we were talking about this earlier today, but I'm like, Devon is handsome, and that's all well and good, but I would have definitely thought he would be with someone. I told him I thought he would be with someone like Chrissy. And that's how we were talking a little bit about the Jim Jones and the Harlem, and his disdain from Harlem was showing once again.
I have disdain for Harlem.
If anybody's from Harlem, please pipe in.
I mean, do you realize like 112th between Lenox and Fifth? Foster Projects.
Well, like that's, I realized that because somebody said you
like from both of my families, like the Dawsons and the Grants. That's
someone said that you're from Harlem, and you said, yeah, you're not. Yes, baby. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No. And you do. You have don't lie. When Queens, you immediately say Queens, and you go with that. But Harlem, you be like, oh, you know, they be on some sucker stuff. They from Harlem. You be on that. Don't get up here and talk different.
We're talking about Jim Jones now?
It's not just Jim Jones, but other people. When I say they're from Harlem, you be like, well, he from Harlem. So ASAP Rocky, you said the same thing. You said, well, he from Harlem. He on some. Yeah. So don't say who. Then. No, you do with people from Harlem. You do more often than not with people from Harlem. You do have some slight words to say.
I don't know. I don't think I had a whole lot to say about ASAP. It's a different.
You did. You said, wasn't he wearing the dress a couple?
Oh yeah.
And then you said, well, he from Harlem, so they be on that. They be on
that
stuff.
They kind of be like,
so
like
again, so
even
Harlem,
Cam with that pink.
Okay, so again, so then don't act surprised because your first response again is always to deny instead of saying, "All right."
I was trying to remember like what I said about.
But now it's flowing. But now it can flow.
I remember that because I was thinking, man, he's kind of a weirdo, but yeah, but like they
yes, and it was one time we were watching something and it was about couples too. And it was around New York, and then when they panned down, you said, yeah, I knew he had to be from Harlem. I knew he had to be from Harlem. Because she said that what drew her to him was his fashion sense. And they showed his whole outfit. You said, yeah, I knew they from Harlem. You saw the outfit. So you again, you have a little.
All right. You've met my uncle. Kevin.
Yeah.
You know what's in that closet at my mom's house?
Yes. Yeah. And your mom told you to put that jacket on because it was cold. It was a pimp coat from top to bottom. It was a floor length. It was a floor length pimp jacket. She wanted my husband to walk around New York with.
So am I wrong?
No, it's not even wrong. But what you need to admit is that yes, Courtney, you're right. I have said I do say stuff about Harlem.
Yeah, but
that no, don't rush past that. Okay. Let me hear that.
All right, yeah, I have said some things about Harlem.
Good. Now we're gonna move on, but because this is the accountability.
No
that is a disdain.
The only disdain I have is for them, them boys from uptown. That's it.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Jim Jones and them, man.
Okay, no, but at any rate, that's again moving the conversation.
Yeah,
but what I was originally saying was that our backgrounds were so different, and I thought you were cute, but like I said, I didn't feel like you were my type, and I was not your type, like of who I would think ideal person. But the chemistry was always so good. It was always so good and very, very lively, and he's like funny and just. It's a boss energy. It's very bossy, but sometimes it's too bossy because it'd be bossy to me. But he's very bossy, and I liked it.
You talking about somebody being bossy?
Very bossy, very bossy, very bossy.
Woman, you are a queen boss.
I'm not a queen boss. No one has ever said that to my face.
First time anything.
No one has ever said that to my face. Queen boss. I like things to be in a certain order. I'm very orderly, but at any rate, I like that. I like the energy. And I remember hearing something a couple of times where they said, you don't seek what you don't get what you seek. You get what you are. And so, yes, it would make sense that I'm bossy and I have attracted someone that is very bossy. And what I was sharing with my husband earlier this week, God won't tell you who you are. He'll show you who you are. Y'all, we done. God won't, let me repeat that. God won't tell you who you are.
You did right there. You don't want to go to New York.
He will show you who you are. And God showed me who I was in Devon. Lack accountability. Someone who liked to move the line so that they're always right.
What?
We gonna get it. We only got 5 minutes. We only got 2 minutes. How you want to spend it?
If we gotta go, we going.
Okay. I always wanted to move to New York, but my dad changed my mind. I was trying to get a position at Bloomingdale's. My dad said I didn't have any family there, so I changed my mind. Wow. Okay. So funny story with that too. So growing up, I didn't really think too much about Philly, tell you the truth. But when my SAT scores came in, they were pretty high. And so Temple sent me an interest letter, right? And I was like, yeah, I want to do Temple because I want to get far away from, I don't want to be nowhere in Florida. So unbeknownst to me, my mom had already applied to Florida State, and FAMU had sent interest as well. And she had already accepted FAMU. And so I couldn't believe it because now you think I'm bossy, baby. You ain't seen bossy. You ain't seen it like Ross dealt it. But I was literally telling people that I was going to Philadelphia. I was going to Philadelphia. And my mom was like, Courtney, your acceptance letter, they gonna offer you this and that. And I'm thinking we talking about Temple. And I was just like, Temple? And she was like, no. And I was like, oh, Florida State? And she was like, you ain't going to no Bobby Bowden school. And she's like, you going to FAM? Like, they're giving you a full of your scholarship kicks in your sophomore year though. And I was so hurt because I was just like, I want to get away from this. I want to get out of here. And I said, Mom, I want to go to Temple. She said, Courtney, Temple is too cold and you like to sleep too much. You'll never go to classes. And I was just like, like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I only sleep a lot here because I don't want to be here. Like, I'm going to be up in there. I'm going to be someplace I want to be. I'm going to always be out and about. Like, I'm going to be doing stuff. She said, no, FAMU is close enough home. Oh, somebody fishing. And so she said, FAMU is close enough to Daytona that you can get back and forth fast enough. And the weather is similar here. So you're not going to have those real cold days. So y'all, my freshman year, my mom passed away. My freshman year at FAMU, my mom passed. And my brother, there was talk about wanting me thinking I should just come and live in Daytona, but commute to Orlando. And so I said, no, I want to do right by mom. I said, when my mom passed, I had a 1.7 GPA. And my mom has said, if I didn't get my GPA back up the next semester, she said, either you run hard and run far, or you're going to be running back home. So she passed the next semester. And after that, my GPA never dropped below a 3.2. So when I think I ended up graduating with a 3.27. It was almost a 3.3.
What year was this?
When I graduated, 2000, I was about to say 2000 more, 2001.
2001?
Yes.
F1.
So, and that's another thing too. Like, when I was in college and beyond, you were doing time.
Matter of fact,
that's what I said. How you gonna say how is this incredible that we linked up?
The same
we had such a crazy background.
You went to college.
You went in.
And this
is what I'm saying. This is why I say that we had such we've had an incredible backstory to end up together. Like God, only God could have done that. Only God could have done that. And also, Devon, we often talk about this as well. Devon had never joined a church or been to church, and honey, that was I've been to church. Well, I mean, like being like on like you had a church that you were going to. Like no, right? That's what I mean when I say been to church. Like it's like this is like you will be going to church, but that's not like you don't consider that you're not a church member, but you're going to church.
Wait, what's awesome?
That how we came together, I believe.
Oh,
so. But that's what I'm saying. You leave it in God's hands. God will do the impossible because we couldn't have plotted that. He couldn't have said, "Dang, I want to meet a girl, from Daytona, but spend some time in Philly, but went around here, and this, and then how you gonna be mad at Dipset when that was how you said you knew when the song came on? How you knew I had a little." Yeah. I had a little bump because, honey, let me tell y'all, I am a Fantana, y'all. It is Jewel's Fantana all day, baby. So, yes. Yeah, she said, yes, how you both came together. So, this is why I'm saying, like, even through your disdain for Harlem and them Uptown boys, that was the connection. That was the connection.
But you know what's crazy?
What?
You know my Aunt Diane that lives down in Florida now, right?
Yeah.
When it's in like somewhere in Tampa, I think.
Yeah.
They lived in the Polo Grounds. That's uptown. That's Jim Jones and Can. That's their little hood. I spent a lot of time up there. I spent a lot of time up there. My cousins and stuff. And this is how I know that they trash.
They're not.
Anyway.
Jim can rap.
Who?
I said Jim's Jewels. Great rapper.
I'm glad he got his teeth fixed.
I am too. He was on drugs. It was drugs.
Chewing them pills. Anyway, we didn't stay in New York. We supposed to kind of hop around a little bit.
No, New York had to be discussed because it is a lot to dissect. But I did want to make sure that we got into a couple of more scriptures here. It says, New York attracted me because I didn't need a car. All I would have to do was holler, hey, taxi. That you can tell that story too. That is funny because he be talking about that here. And I'm like, well, we have Uber. We don't need a taxi. We need a taxi. Call somebody else.
I never thought that I would actually miss, like,
being able to help
the taxi thing. Because, like, even with Uber, Lyft, and all that stuff, in New York, you can still grab a cab on the street. You can grab a cab on the street. They're not as plentiful as they used to be, but you can still grab one. Non-existent down here. Doesn't exist at all.
But why?
You might as well get a scooter, a bike, or something.
But why? But I don't understand. Okay, so I've always personally, I've never had a license. I've always lived in walkable cities, and I'm saying, to me, it doesn't matter about going out and getting one. Where you can still, they come relatively quickly.
What are you talking about?
Uber and Lyft, like you do the app, they come fast. I mean, why do we miss going out into the street and hailing one down?
One, what if I don't have Uber app?
But you do.
I don't. I did.
Okay.
I remember I couldn't get the Uber.
But we used to send them.
Yeah, that came off Yanni phone.
Yeah, that's it. We used to send them.
Yeah, but I didn't have one.
Okay, but I'm saying that because of that service, you still have access. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
but okay, I don't have the Uber. I just got Lyft. Literally, I just got Lyft. Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying, and not only that, but it can get expensive.
And like, taxis don't.
And what?
And taxis don't.
No. Listen, gypsy cabs. Look. Okay, when I was coming up, gypsy cabs didn't even have a meter. Yo, I'm going from 170th to 161st. $7. Let's go.
But that's when you were coming up, babe. I'm talking about here and now.
Here and now, even gypsy cabs don't have meters.
Okay, they don't have meters, but they aren't charging competitively to Lyft and to Uber and to other taxis. They are having competitive pricing.
Nah, they coming in lower.
But how much lower? Is it still $7 for the?
It's gonna be a flat rate. It's not. It ain't gonna be depending on the time, the traffic. If Raheem got shot down there in the projects, ain't gonna be none of that. It's gonna be a flat rate. If it's $5 Monday, it's $5 Tuesday. Okay, $5 Tuesday is $5 Friday.
All that being said, but you can still, just like we do. That's why, like I say, develop relationships with people so it's not transactional, and you can get a flat rate for plenty of places.
I understand that. Courtney, I understand that. I do. But what I'm saying is, before you develop that relationship, now you got to be playing. Let's wait for these rates to go down.
Yeah. No. But it's not that big of it's to me personally, it's not that big of an inconvenience because you're not in New York. So you're not in a place that you now to get, here and there and it's way uptown and this and that. So, you adjust the surroundings. Like I said, I'm used to walkable cities.
I need a cab.
Athens is not walkable.
I need a cab just to go to the dang on store.
But
go to the store like 3 miles away.
It's not walkable. And that's what I miss about being in a walkable city. It's not walkable, but you can still walk. I'm not to the point where I'm like, oh, like, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just like, okay, we got to make adjustments, you know. Now, I'm definitely, like I said, I've always lived in walkable cities. So that was something that, you know, again, I've had to choose jobs very strategically and choose my outings very, you know, very carefully. Because you don't want to, you know, you're going to the mall or what have you. The mall shut at 9, and then the train stop at 10. You know, it's how you're gonna maneuver back and forth. But like I said, when Uber went public, that changed all of that. And like again, back to faith in God. You know, He'll always make a way, and that's the real conclusion of all of this. That God makes a way, and He makes all things possible. And this way comes by what? By fasting and praying. You cannot expect for changes to happen just because you don't control it. You've got to give God that control. So I just think that what we have to, it has to be a renaissance as a people. A reawakening and a real woke, not this fake woke because you're bored or tired or what have you, but a real woke because at the end of the day, it does come back to the word. So New York is going through it. It's gonna be continue until my people who are called by my name, okay, will turn on their wicked ways. This is why true deliverance and true submission is so important. It is so significant. And that way, these other things, they're very insignificant. They don't matter. The taxes don't matter. The disagreements about, you know, sports teams and all that, like, it doesn't matter if we're really tapped into the word of God. So I just, again, in closing, I want to and thank you all who tuned in to this broadcast. Sending condolences to Yadzi's family. Definitely praying that Ezekiel's sword of justice comes swift, honey. And again, the gentleman, the alleged murderer, is he has been charged with mishandling or hiding a corpse. He has not been charged with her murder as of yet. But the fact that he thought that anybody would think that it is wise, that it is appropriate, that it is anything but sadistic to be dragging a body down the street behind their motorized wheelchair, their motorized scooter, which, you know, you wouldn't even treat a dog like that. So to do this to someone's daughter, someone's twin, that got me. Like, literally, she came in the world with the twin brother, and they're now going to be split. You know, they're going to be split from this life. But we are, yes, please do look that up. Please do look that up. But you are absolutely right. And I want that comment. Definitely. I'm going to leave that on the screen to close us out. That right. It is all in God's will and in his time. Absolutely. So we must stay prayed up. Again, if you want any of these scriptures so you can do your worship and your studying through the word, by way of a Bible study, list out so you can know what scriptures were sought during this time of what in the word, as well as some that were given before we even, took to the YouTube stage here, to the StreamYard stage here. Please do reach out and let us know. And now, may I just add our banner in, because it is a good time to become a member of the village. And even if you cannot be a member of the village physically, we definitely do welcome you to come with the village build, as we have once a month, and we welcome any interest in coming to visit us here in Athens. I mean, we like I said, we live beyond the borders. It's not just on here. We are looking for actual people that want to become a part of the village physically, but always looking for people to come apart spiritually. But thank you so much for joining us today for this What in the Word Wednesday. Make sure you tune in and make sure you subscribe and share and set your ring that bell so that your clocks are set for Friday's Couple of Forevers. Well, we have some really good updates regarding that as well. We're looking forward to not quite ready with our next sought after couple for Couple of Forever, but we got some great updates in regards to that couple with Henry and Megan. So we want to continue to send prayers over to Arkansas as there is a lot of recovering being done. So thank you again. Babe, any closing words you would like to share?
Yeah. This is for all the homies in these big cities and small cities. Just it's all just surrounded with constant violence and constant ways that the world is stealing your joy and dampening your light. Just stay strong, man. 10 feet down, 10 toes down.
That's a lot of feet.
I know that's a lot of feet, right? 10 feet down. Yes. 10 feet. That's only 5 people, though.
Still a lot of feet.
Yeah, but stay strong. Don't let the world steal your joy, man. Stay centered. That's the sound of a true warrior, true soldiers. Stay centered. Be good and be safe.
Until next time, for What in the Word.